Our next topic discusses allowable and unallowable emergency purchases. Once there is an executive order issued by the governor, the secretary may issue an emergency order for the department. Leadership will then make a decision on specific needs, such as allowing food purchases and Class C travel. It is important to not assume the same decisions will be applied for each event, so if you are not sure, please ask what the intent of the suspension is. Questions may be addressed to the comptroller. In order for the purchase of food to be allowable, there must be a suspension of the travel statutes included in the Secretary's emergency order. Also, management must clearly indicate the specific circumstances that require the purchase of food. Some common situations where food may be allowable include feeding employees that are required to remain in the EOCs with 24-hour operations, feeding employees who are required to remain at an emergency relief worksite, feeding employees when no food is available in the vicinity of the emergency relief worksite, or in a situation where excessive travel time for meal breaks in the area impacted by the emergency would interfere with providing the needed emergency relief support efforts. There are guidelines that must be followed when purchasing food for employees. First, the meal allowance rates must be considered when determining what food to purchase. Those rates are $6 for breakfast, $11 for lunch, and $19 for dinner. This should be the basis of the cost of meals per individual. In most cases, food should be purchased in bulk, commonly used to prepare bag lunches to provide to employees. Restaurants or caterers may be used if it is determined by management to be the most appropriate means to provide a meal. Keep in mind, however, that tips or gratuities for meals are limited to 15% and must be concluded within the meal allowance. Be sure to include any justification to support the need if there are any service or delivery fees. It is imperative that the purchase of food is supported with the following documentation: the date that the meal was provided, the type of meal that was provided, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, the justification for why meals are being provided, and a list of the names of those employees that were provided meals. Reminder that when a meal is provided to an employee, the employee cannot be reimbursed for that meal on their travel reimbursement. Water may be purchased as needed to support ongoing emergency relief efforts during the governor's declared emergency. The purchase may only be made after the governor has made an emergency declaration and if there is an immediate threat, such as a hurricane landfall predicted in your area within 24 hours. After the emergency, any unused water should be maintained for use during future emergencies, either in your district or in another district that is facing a pending emergency. The designated fuel card should be used for FDOT vehicles and equipment for fuel purchases. Bulk fuel purchases should be made through My Florida Marketplace. The procedures for bulk fuel and emergency fuel cards are outlined in the Mobile Equipment Manual and the Fuel and Maintenance Procedure 400-000-001 and should be followed during emergency. The P card is a last resort for purchasing fuel and can be only used if procurement rules are suspended by the Secretary's emergency order. Justification explaining the use of the P card must be included with the payment documentation. Laundry services and personal items. If the travel statute is suspended, the normal 7-day rule regarding laundry services is suspended as well. There still must be justification to support the need for such services. Employees should be informed of the approximate number of days they will be deployed and bring enough clothing to support that deployment. Personal items and toiletries, such as clothing, toothpaste, etc., are not normally authorized purchases. Some items may be purchased for safety reasons when employees are required to perform duties that would require specific personal items to safely perform a work task. An example of this would be the need to purchase of soap for an FDOT procured portable shower for employees to clean off contaminated waters they were exposed to immediately after completing work tasks. If you have any unusual purchases, please reach out to the comptroller before procuring. Vaccinations for deployment are generally not authorized. If management recommends, due to potential exposure to communicable and infectious diseases, a written statement from management must be included with the payment package. That concludes the segment on emergency purchases. We will now open it up for questions.